So
We're
speaking
going
of,
straight towards war.
so we going straight towards war. You think, right? Because I saw Joe Rogan, and he seemed really upset about the fact that we had missiles from America being sent out into Russia that were launched out by Ukraine. Now, from my understanding, this is what
Not just America.
not just America. What's up? Talk to me.
Great Great Britain and either Germany, one of the two. Let me check.
Well, you said Great Britain
Let
and
me
who
get it.
else?
Let me get it
It
right
cut out a
before.
little bit.
Let me get the, let me get the other country for you.
Was it Taiwan? No, it wasn't
It was
Taiwan.
one other
Taiwan
country, I
said that they
believe.
need to. Taiwan said they need to put their own
No,
needs
I think it
aside to
was.
help
I think
Ukraine.
it was France.
France sent missiles into Russia
I think
as
it was the
well.
French. Yep.
See, because I've been doing a little bit of deep
So
diving.
now it's a
Oh, go
NATO
ahead.
thing.
It's a NATO issue, right?
It's a NATO thing. Yeah.
Because I was doing my own due diligence, right? And people are saying like, "Yo, this is what Vladimir Putin wanted us to fall into propaganda of fear." And they were saying everybody talks about Russia and when people, but no one talks about Ukraine defending themselves from Russia and finally sending missiles over there, from my understanding. Now, I get it,
Okay.
and then there's also that narrative that they are upset that Joe Biden did this and missed like right before leaving the office and trying to start some shit and leave a bad taste in, the Republicans' mouth by starting a fucking war before they walk right out of office.
Yeah. See, that's the nasty part because this isn't a problem that he's gonna have to deal with for much longer. Like, yeah, I mean, he's an American, so if America has to go to war behind this, then he has to deal with it as a citizen of the country, but he won't have to deal with it as his job. He's leaving that to somebody else, granted if we like to do it or not.
Yeah, and I think that's
No,
the
that's not
crazy
right because you putting the rest of the country in jeopardy.
And I think that's the craziest part. Now, there's also something that I was looking at where Korea was sending troops into Russia or something of that nature, and
Yep,
that was
North
enough
Korea.
reason. Yeah, North Korea, and that was enough reason for them to fucking send the bombs over there. Now Russia is talking that nuclear shit, and that's when things change because they have like the nuclear doctrine of Moscow, and they're
We're not gonna be
rewriting it.
bullied. We're not gonna be bullied by that neither.
You don't think so?
You're not gonna bully us.
And I think the problem is
Like
that people don't
America's
feel
a bull.
bull. I don't think they feel bullied. I
Yeah.
think they're more worried about the fact that we may actually have to fight them at this point. I think that's why people are upset.
See, I think the Russians are using the nuclear thing as a way to say, I'm gonna do what I want, and then you're gonna retaliate down the line, and I'm gonna say I'll nuke you
Mm,
if you keep retaliating. I'm gonna continue to do what I want.
right.
And while I don't think it's a good idea to test people like that, because one day they're just gonna say, you know what, I'll show you and press the button.
Mm.
You're not about to play with us neither. Like we
And
are. Like, come on now.
yeah,
We
that's something
got
like I think
70,
America will
what,
be
12,000 nukes or some shit like that.
who America got 12,000 nukes?
12,500 nukes, I think.
That's how much we got on standby?
Think so. Yeah.
Wow. See, that's something like I don't know cuz Putin's always threatening somebody. But I think that the whole thing with
Nope.
Ukraine.
We got 5,000 nukes now.
Oh wow. That's a lot of nukes, man. I mean like I don't know if the whole nuke thing is a scare tactic or they really one day can really end up going to nuclear war. I just think the timing of this whole thing is very absurd. You know what I'm saying? It seems like we're about to make a smooth transition. They always talk about like he's not gonna he Trump wasn't gonna make a smooth transition, and now it's like you want to just drop a bomb on Russia, but knowing that we're funding Ukraine, and then the whole narrative is like, oh, they're American made missiles. And that's what made it like, yo, bro, Joe, why would you do this? And then I think the hardest thing about being an American sometimes is that when stuff like this happens, it could have been for a real probable cause. But then none of our political leaders
Yeah.
address anything to the media to
Explains it. And they
yeah,
don't explain it to the country.
they don't. So it's
That's
like
the problem.
I feel left
But then
out.
you get news and reports that Trump is negotiating a ceasefire behind the scenes between Russia and Ukraine.
Mm,
And it reports that the same thing is going on with Israel and Hamas.
Yeah, these
Well, not really
ceasefires.
because Israel is Joe Biden is doing whatever Israel wants him to do right now, but you know,
That's something like
those reports are out there.
I don't know, man. Like I think this is I would hate to go to World War III, and I think that when Joe Rogan was talking, he was like going on a rant about like, yo, you guys are effed up, the deep state, all these people to just do this right now, and people are trying to say he's an idiot because they were like, well, Ukraine is just defending themselves, but I think it's just like it's still the point. Like, when do American people come first? Because at the
So it would have been okay for Russia to um, give Cuba missiles to attack America when we tried to invade with the bad pigs?
well, what's that history
Because
about?
isn't it sort of the same thing? Didn't Russia invade Ukraine because Russia didn't want NATO to have a country right there in their backyard, right?
Mm,
That's why they invaded them. That's the same thing with Cuba being in our backyard and Russia controlling Cuba during the Cold War or having influence over Cuba during the Cold War. Excuse me. And we went in there and tried to kill Castro. That could have been seen as an act of war.
mm,
Now, if they'd have sent missiles, then what?
damn,
How would we have felt?
that's a good point.
Not sympathizing for the Russians, because I mean, fuck the Russians, but
Yeah, I
you know,
I I think all of this is just
common
utterly
sense.
this is just nonsense, man. I mean, like this whole and I get it. We gotta have allies. You know what I'm saying? We gotta have allies. But it's just it just comes a point where it's like, damn, imagine being an American right now who's politically aware of things. I can guarantee you probably feel like crap. Like
Mhm.
just kind of feel a little bit left out, feel a little bit not really what's the word I'm looking for? You don't really feel too American. It almost feels like, damn, what is this
It
country
feels
coming
like
to?
the Yeah, it feels like our government right now is more concerned with what's going on outside of the country than what's going on inside of the country.
Yeah. And what
It's
do you think will
very
come out of this?
confusing.
A part of me like has hope that Donald Jaquavius Trump might fix this. All right. And I don't know the complexities of this, right? Because I did hear people saying like this is Putin's want for propaganda to make us believe that there's gonna be a war. Even though really it's not our fault that even though Joe Biden initiated it and they used American missiles, it's still a Ukraine thing. You know what I'm saying? It's still a Ukraine thing. And to say it's only America's fault is kind of crazy when
Yeah,
it's really a Ukraine and Russia thing. America just has their money in the pot. You know what I'm saying? And they gave him permission to use our missiles. It
tons of
doesn't
it.
mean that they gave him permission to, it's all weird. And it's like, yo, bro, but that's what I'm saying about the politicians and the media. Like they're not really making this easy for everybody to really understand the details and intricacies. But I just think the timing is horrible. Bless you. I just think the timing is horrible. Truth be
uh,
told. But yeah, what do you think the
yeah,
outcome is going to be of this though? You think we'll go to World War III or not?
no, 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 no,
Because
no,
some have been saying we've been in World War III
not
already, but just
happening.
indirectly. But I don't think America will get involved in this.
Yeah,
Like,
kinda. Technically, America is funding a war using a proxy state, which will be Ukraine against Russia.
mhm.
That's America versus Russia through Ukraine. That's a world war. It's a war with multiple countries. While the same thing is going on in Israel against multiple different countries in the Middle East.
This will come out and be some interesting history one day when they realize that we were in major wars. They were just proxy, and I think a lot of people are not inclined to that word, and they have not heard of that. This proxy war
I
situation.
wonder if it's any mercenaries from America on the ground in any of these countries.
Bro, I mean that the whole thing with Kamala Harris when she was in office, she's like, "There's no soldiers on foot." And if you look up that video with the soldiers, they were in the thing. They was like, "There's no soldiers in any battleground places right now." I don't know if you ever saw that, but that was a viral video. And after she did the debate, he said, "We have no soldiers in any battleground areas or whatever." And those soldiers made that TikTok with them like in a hut. They was like, "Yo, so what are we?"